All right, and thank you for joining us here at the First Alert Desk to go over your top headlines and some of the news we're following here in the metro Atlanta area. Thanks for joining me. I'm Maria Moreau. Getting into your top story of the morning, this is something that we've been following pretty much through since 4:30 this morning, since we first heard about it. A police officer now in the hospital, and a man is dead after an exchange of gunfire took place in the Covington area. This is near the OYO Hotel in Newton County. Our reporter Rebecca Schramm has been following this all morning long and getting the latest updates from investigators who are still looking into this matter. Here's more on that.
Yeah, you know what? Even with a bullet wound to the head, that police officer, Gervier, was able to speak with paramedics as they rushed him to the hospital. I want to show you because the detectives here are focusing a lot of their attention on the second floor of this motel. It's called Oyo Hotel, and you can see investigators from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation are here gathering evidence right now. Here's the scene from overnight. We've learned it was about 10:30 last night when a police officer responded to a call of a domestic fight here at the motel. And when that officer arrived, he encountered someone with a gun, according to Covington police, and they exchanged gunfire. A bullet struck the officer in the head. A second officer arrived moments later and also engaged with the man with the gun, killing him. We spoke with a woman who's staying a couple doors down from the room where all of this happened. She says she saw that first officer arrive and walk right past her on the balcony. She says he knocked on the couple's door, announcing that he was a police officer and asking them to open the door. She says finally on the third knock, somebody opened the door, and that is when she says she heard about 6 to 8 gunshots. Here's what she told us about the couple.
They were arguing all night last night on the second balcony, and front desk lady told me that she heard them this morning fighting and arguing all day, and they've been doing this for the past couple weeks that they've been staying here.
And back here live, you can see officers have taped some tarps to shield the public from the view of that balcony where this happened. We imagine it's a gruesome scene up there. We're going to let you know when we learn more from the GBI.
And as Rebecca was saying, we will continue to keep you updated. Best way to check in on the latest developments in this story. I know some people want to know the condition of the officer, just the latest on what exactly took place and the motive behind all of this. That is going to be on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. We'll be following the latest on this story. All right, getting into some of your other top stories, a major trial that has really caught national attention, but primarily here in Georgia, closing arguments now underway in the trial of Richard Merritt. He's a former Atlanta attorney accused of killing his mother in 2019 and failing to turn himself into prison. Now, during proceedings yesterday, his attorneys argued that there is no DNA evidence linking him to his mother's killings. Merritt's ex-wife took the stand, testifying that for the 19 years that they were married, that he had a temper while drinking. Again, the closing arguments continue today. We have our reporter who's going to be in the courtroom following the latest, and you can count on us to have those updates for you on atlantanewsfirst.com. And getting into this story, we hear it time and time again, the dangers of social media, and now U.S. health officials coming out with confirmation that there are significant negative impacts that social media can have on young people, and giving some parents advice on how they should navigate this. The U.S. Surgeon General, for the first time ever, by the way, issuing a public health advisory on social media, saying the negative impact it can have on young people. Now, a Pew Research study recently found that up to 95% of 13 to 17-year-olds who use social media, a third of them say they use it constantly. It also found that young people who spend more than 3 hours a day face twice the risk of having poor mental health. Now, the Surgeon General suggests that parents restrict devices at bedtime and encourage their kids to make friends in person. Another thing to watch out for, filters and editing apps that can have a negative influence on body image, especially at a young age. You know, teens are growing into themselves. They're trying to navigate who they are in the world. Social media can have a negative impact on their self-image. It's good to be that positive person in their life throughout their time. Now, talking a little bit about what's ahead still today, at 11:30 we're going to be taking you to a press conference where attorney Ben Crump and the family of this young woman, Brianna Greer, will be announcing a lawsuit, a wrongful death lawsuit, in this 28-year-old girl's death. Now, if you aren't familiar with the Breonna Greer story, this is something that took place about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, when Breonna Greer fell out of a patrol car and died 6 days later. Today, family members are taking action saying that her death at the hands of officials in Hancock County was wrong. And they are saying that Greer was having a mental health crisis at the time she was arrested, and that the sheriff, a deputy, and more law enforcement officials in Hancock County that are being named in the lawsuit had a hand in her death. Now, again, we are going to be bringing you those remarks at 11:30. Ben Crump is going to be there. We are expecting to hear from family members of Breonna Greer, and we'll have the latest here for you on Atlanta News First Plus. All right, a lot of us are looking at our calendars. We're halfway through the work week, and that means that Memorial Day weekend is right around the corner. And with Memorial Day weekend, a lot of people looking to maybe get out of town, get on the waters, but we want to warn you, our meteorologists have been telling you this all morning long. Take a closer look at the forecast. Meteorologist Ella Dorsey is here with another installment of Weather Where You Are, and she's saying expect a total washout.
Not a total washout, but there's growing chances for heavy rain this weekend. So
Perfectly said.
we want to get you into it, guys, because there's still a lot of uncertainty with this forecast. It's going to change a lot, but we just want to go ahead and tell you that there's a growing likelihood for heavy rain throughout the weekend. So this could end up having a high impact on your Memorial Day weekend plans. Let me tell you about it. So we're going to see kind of a tropical-like low move into Georgia at some point this weekend. It's going to develop off of the Carolina coastline now. Its eventual path will have extreme impacts on us here locally. Timing is still uncertain for the heavy rain. Looks like it likely right now Saturday night through the day on Sunday. So if I were you, I'd start to think about secondary plans for you and your family throughout the weekend, especially on Sunday, just because of that chance for rain. But once again, this is going to change a lot. The low is developing now. Once it develops, then the models will have a placement of that low, and they will have a lot more consistency, and we'll know a lot better about the timing and the impacts here locally, okay? So let's talk about it. Again, there's kind of still a front sitting down to our south. It's the same front that brought us all the rain the last couple of days of gloomy conditions. It's going to move out into the Atlantic and strengthen, kind of becoming tropical in nature. And then that heavy rain is going to move inland along the South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia coastline. Now, if you're headed to Charleston, Tybee Island, Savannah, Wrightsville Beach, you definitely need to plan on washout conditions on Saturday. How far inland the rain makes it, again, still up in the air, but what we can tell you is right now, it looks like that heavy rain is going to reach us here in Georgia by Saturday night. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt. This is the Euro model. The GFS model actually has rain moving in early on Saturday, but I kind of believe the Euro model looks dry right now through the first half of the day on Saturday. That heavy rain reaching East Georgia around sunset, those showers reaching Metro Atlanta around sunset. Now, I want to note, looks like West Georgia remains dry through the entire day on Saturday. Rain becomes pretty heavy overnight through Sunday morning. Sunday, first half of the day, looks like a washout with showers only starting to taper around sunset on Sunday. And then Monday, we finally look like things dry out. Now, once again, if the system slows down, it could end up lingering into Monday. If it speeds up, the heavy rain could be Saturday. But right now, the first alert is for Sunday because, once again, that's the highest potential for heavy rain. The further east you live, the greater the potential for that heavy rain because it's closer to the coast. So you can see areas like Rome, Carrollton, Noonan likely to stay dry through the day on Saturday. Showers are likely on Sunday. Look at these temperatures too, guys. Regardless of how much rain we get, we're going to be in this northerly flow, which means highs could only be in the low 60s or upper 60s or low 70s. So it's definitely not going to be bathing suit weather outside. It's not going to be beach weather outside. It's not going to be pool weather outside, okay? So you got to factor that into your weekend plans as well. All right, so the coastline, that's what we're the most concerned about. Charleston, Tybee Island, Savannah looks like complete washout on Saturday. If you're headed down to the Georgia coastline, certainly need to plan on almost like tropical depression-like conditions, really breezy, very rainy Saturday. Sunday, the conditions look like they get better along the coastline. So once again, Saturday, Sunday's the day we're kind of honing in on for the rain. Memorial Day, it looks like we will be drying out. Memorial Day will be the best day to get outside. Temps jump back into the upper 70s, only about a 20% chance of rain. Now, as we are speaking right now, the 12Z data is coming in. Basically, that's just one of the most accurate model runs. There's 4 of them a day. It's one that we look at. We're going to get that data in right before the noon show. So I'm going to tweak the forecast. And then, of course, we get more data in through the afternoon. Fred, Patrick, Jen will be here. They will be updating you. And this is something you want to stay closely tuned to if you have plans this weekend. I know there's lots of graduations happening. Many of you do have outdoor plans. It's the kickoff of summer, right? Tune back in. Don't take this exact forecast and run with it because, again, it's likely to change a lot. But we wanted to go ahead and first alert you that that rain is likely this weekend, and it may have a big impact on your plans, okay? So, of course, I will do one of these leading up to Memorial Day weekend. I will do one again on Friday, and if not, I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m. on Atlanta News First, okay? Bye, guys.